13 love, 13 knowledge, 13 wisdom, 13 respect. This is your creation 13. Today we're going to be talking about the mechanics behind breathwork. I really feel a lot of times that when gurus and teachers teach you about the power of the breath, um, it really gets you into the relaxed state, right? It gets you into that mental state that you need to release and let go, right? That's one of the powers of breath to understand. And just kind of going into a deeper thought of what the breath is, becoming one with it. Just like we have our eyesight, we stay focused on everything. We have smell, right? We got taste. And when we focus on those, even hearing, when we really focus on those particular elements of the human body, we begin to really see the mechanics behind those, right? And a lot of people take those for granted, especially those who have sight, right? Because there's a lot of people who are blind, so they can't see, so they have to use their different abilities, their hearing, their smells, right? Smelling different things to be able to move around in life, right? Same way with people who can't hear. They're going to focus more on their senses of their sight and their smell and feeling the energies, right? They're tapping into the energies that surround them. So they'll feel the aura of familiars around them, and they'll feel the aura of strangers around them. So it's really interesting. So if we spend time studying and becoming one with each sense, the eyes, the smells of the nose, the mouth, the ears, and the breath, right, then we can really begin to build and understand the mechanics of the body. So what is the power of the breath, right? There's many different elements that you can look at, but it's really simple. And I came up with the analogy. It's just like when you throw in wood into a stove, right? A wood stove, or even a train, right? You got to get the train going, so you got to constantly be throwing coal into the stove, so then the train can keep going, because the hotter the stove, the faster the train will go. So that's what we're looking at with the breath, is that we're breathing in energy, we're breathing in the ethers, and we're storing it in our stomach, which that is called the kai, or the chi, right? We're building that in. And as we consume the ethers and the energy, and then allow it to go down into the stomach, it begins to build fire within your stomach, and that ignites through your whole body. And the goal is to figure out how to activate it, right? My mind always goes back to Dragon Ball Z, because it really focuses a lot on energy and how things work, and how you use the adrenaline, the will and intent to allow the energy to flow through you, and then you allow the energy to push out of you. And learning those mechanics involves energy, storing energy, right? So when you look at different breaths of holding your kai, holding the breath, you breathe in, and then keep it in there, right? I didn't inhale out. So that allows to keep the energy in. Now if you need something that needs to go out of you, then you're going to go and you blow out whatever kind of energies you don't want. Which this also goes into spirits or entities within you, right? You always see people who have entities that they want to release, so they release through what? People begin to look like they're puking up a spirit, right? And if you watch a visual presentation, whether it be supernatural TV show or some other kind of supernatural show that has to deal with spirits, they're coughing up a mist. You can't see the mist unless you have your spiritual eyes on. You can't see the mist, but that's what they're coughing up, is a mist. Trying to think of the word we're looking at here. Just a spirit, right? Smoke, whatever you want to look at. And that's what we're looking at. So with the different kind of breath techniques that gurus and teachers will teach you, there's many different patterns that you can use. So like when people are going, you're igniting the energy, right? Just like a train. It sounds just like a train, doesn't it? Chugga, 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 chugga. You're building up the chi within you, right? And then the goal is once you're there, your whole body will begin to feel like it's on fire because you're activating your ether body. You're activating your spirit body, right? Which is one step of many steps to become a fiery light being, right? To activate. And how that looks, oh man, there's so many different ways to theorize, I can't say the word, many different theories on how that works. But we haven't actually physically seen it. That's one of the things you got to realize when people are talking is theories, right? And even with the breath, it's still theories. That's why you explore into it, right? And that's what we're talking about. So let's go ahead. We'll just do different kind of techniques to help you practice energy. And the best way to get the ethers within you is to be out in nature, because when you're in a house, a lot of the air can be stagnant, stale, as well as the spirits that surround you, especially if you live in a house with other people. You're going to be breathing in spirits of other people, right, that linger. But when you're outside, yes, there is many different spirits outside, but it's the elemental realm that we're dealing with now because we're outside in nature. So there's different spirits. So you can look at that however you want to look at, but we're flowing energy through it because everything is alive, right? Again, I go back to Dragon Ball Z and the spirit ball, or the spirit bomb. It gets all the little energy particles from all life on the earth and focus it onto one spiritual ball, which is just like your soul. You focus all the energy into your soul to activate you, right? So basically how to start out is you're going to want to just get into a quiet place out in nature and just breathe in. And then hold it, allow it to flow down into your stomach, and then breathe out. Then breathe in and hold it, allow it to go down, then breathe out. And what you want to do as you're doing that is you want to imagine your stomach spiraling, right? Spiraling. And how you spiral it is going to be based on how you want the energy to flow through you. So if you allow it to, let's see here, counterclockwise, you're going to make the energy go down, right? It's going to go down through your sacral chakra and into the roots, into the ground. Now if you do it right, let's see, yes. And then clockwise, you're going to spiral, and it's going to allow it to spiral up. So it's going to go up through to your crown, and that's how you spiral the energy upwards. And it's important to understand, because you want to be able to be aware of where the energy is going to flow through. So those slower breaths activate it, and then you have to begin to spiral. So that's where the harder breaths will come in. So you'll be going and then you can begin to do repetitive breaths, which is like this. That's just out the breath. And then you can do that with your nose as well. And breathing in with your nose, breathe in the ethers. Breathe in what you want. Breathing out your mouth is breathing out anything that you don't want. So kind of like a strainer, right? So breathing in the ethers through your nose. And then the strainer is your mouth. People don't really teach you that. It really is quite fascinating, and you really begin to feel the differences when you explore into it. Because all we're doing is just talking, right? Just giving you techniques to explore into, but you have to explore into it. Oh, what's it like to breathe through my nose? And then breathe out my nose. And then do different repetitive things with it. Hold in, then breathe out with your nose. Same with your mouth. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Then repetitiveness. Just start to allow all the stuff to start cycling through, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's like a train. You are building up your chi energy and starting the activation process. And it gets a lot deeper than that, because I'm just sitting right now. But if you really want to go into a deeper perspective of it, you actually have to, quite literally, start to do exercises with that as well. You know, it's actually just standing up. I have to kneel down here. But just begin to stand up and just start moving the energy, because your hands are like spider webs, or you have these energy cords that are through your fingers, right? And you can pull it in, you can release your energy, pull it in and release your energy. And you're creating a bubble around you, as well as you're moving the ethers. It's kind of like you're in water. Just imagine the water being energy. So you're moving the energy, right? And you can't see it unless if you pay attention to it, which is where your eyesight, you have to focus more on your eyesight and be able to see it. And you begin to see what looks like the old-fashioned TV, static, black and white static. And after that, then you can start to see really, really interesting things. So as you're moving the energy, you practice with your breath as well. So and staying totally focused on your energy, right? This is the source of your spirit body, right? This is where your soul, your spirit is, right? Your stomach is going to be where the energy is harnessed. That you get to decide if your energy goes down through the sacral, through the roots, or it's going to spiral up. And that's where you have to really begin to blend the mechanics together. So breathe in, and then want to ground it down. Breathe in again. Then you allow the energy to go up. And it just depends on what you want to do with it and how you want to move it around. because at the end of the day, you're activating your whole body. There's going to be a teaching I'm going to be working on how to really look at the mechanics of how the body works. If you ever want to just do some basic research on what take away all the flesh and the skeleton and just see what you have left. It's really fascinating how it looks. It looks like a tree. You have all of these roots just like a tree. And in my mind, I'm like, man, that kind of reminds me of like electricity. Electricity, since our body is supposedly 90% water, and if all those roots are like electricity, basically we can begin to circulate the energy, and we become what? Light beings, fiery beings. So we have to really learn the mechanics behind this. So that's ultimately the basics on breath and the mechanics behind it. But at the end of the day, breath work doesn't make you spiritual. It's never been about a title or just an exercise that makes you spiritual. It's what all life, or at least what humans should be looking at to reach a next level of understanding or activate that gene within you, or that X gene, right? Big fan of X-Men and mutants, and I really do feel that we all have those abilities. But we've been dumbed down, and through history, it's been known as witchcraft, but look up that word witchcraft. It's been known as being a warlock, but look up the word for warlock. And those will be thought videos I'll make later. But yeah, just look at these mechanics and just begin to practice the breath work. And it's just a simple thing. Take a deep breath through your nose. Let it go down. And then whenever you don't want, breathe out. Right? Same thing. If you want to breathe in the ethers, then breathe out. Exhale anything you don't want through there. And then you can just begin to really be repetitive. Or through the nose. And the faster you go, the harder your body's going to be, because you're igniting the energy within you, right? You begin to feel the fire, the energy, and the electricity that builds through you. Next step is getting up and activating it, moving your body, feeling the energy, because you're moving it, and things like that to get it activated, just like working out, right? You're getting the blood pumping and flowing. But this is where you're getting the energy going, right? That's where the fun part begins, and the exercises begin with it, right? So yeah, practice it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys discover, or whatever other kind of tips that you may have when you do your breath work as well. So love yourself, keep shining bright. I'll talk to y'all later.